Hello, Soulfire. Happy Monday.
Hello, hello, Soulfire. Welcome to the Chronicles of Chiron, the Lion, the Witch, and the Healer. My name is Chrystopher. I'm the AstroMedium.
And
Jessica.
I am Jessica Tanzel, medium, spiritual teacher, and healer. And I'm so excited to be here with you today. How are you?
I'm doing very well. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Today feels good. Are you starting to feel the
Good.
lift of the energy?
Yes, I am starting to feel the lift of the energy. Ascension symptoms are coming in still pretty strong, but they're hitting people at different times. Those of us who've been going through this a while are not getting hit so hard right now. We've got some pretty isolated things going on, but
Yeah.
I definitely want to start off with where Chiron is. So for
Yeah.
those of you tuning in who, of course, this is called the Chronicles of Chiron, but who are not familiar with Chiron, Chiron in astrology is the wounded healer. It shows us where our primal wound is, our insecurities, our fears, our weaknesses, things about ourselves that we're looking to heal, energy that we're wanting to transmute. Chiron is very important. And Jessica and I are on our healing journey, and a lot of our journey has intersected so far. So, thus giving birth to the Chronicles of Chiron. But it's so important that we talk about Chiron as we move into this year of 2021. So, what do you have going on?
Well, it was just interesting as you were talking. I was just told, I was going to say, I just heard, but I was just given the fact that these viewers have watched our transition.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Watched us begin our soul fire mission here and transform into the Chronicles of Chiron. And here
Yes.
we are.
Here we are, kind of just in the midst of it. It's still becoming, it's always evolving. And that's what Chiron energy is all about. So, and both of us have a Chiron in the first house. So this is very close to home for us. For those of you who are not familiar with what that means, the first house is the house of the self, the identity. It's the house of the rising sign, which is the appearance and everything. So when Chiron is sitting there, the physical body, the appearance, the identity holds the wound. Okay. Yours is in Taurus, mine is in Cancer. So it's expressed still yet in different ways, but it always comes home to the fact that it's about us and who we are, and also our bodies as well. And so there's a lot that goes into that.
I, this is always so interesting too. Well, because of how our charts line up the way they do, but
Hmm.
how we have met along the years,
Hmm.
how we've met up at certain times and very big points in both of our lives,
Very.
and that this Chiron is lined up how it is in our first house. And it's powerful just because we do empower each other. At least I think I help empower Chris, but he definitely empowers me.
You
So
definitely empower me as well. And there's a mutual understanding.
I wonder, what does it help people? Like, let's match up our Chirons, please, so that we can empower each other.
Yes. So the exactly. And it's really interesting because Chiron is in Aries right now, and Chiron is now retro shade or direct. So it's moving forward again. So there's a lot of energy that has lightened and things that are starting to lighten up. You can feel there's several reasons for that. But right now, we're still sitting in the Sun square Chiron energy. The Sun's at 7 degrees of Capricorn. Chiron's now at 5 degrees of Aries. So they're 2 degrees away from making an exact square. And if you ever hear me use the word square, it's not a bad thing. It's tense, it's challenging, it can cause confusion. And in this way, there's in the collective wounding coming up and triggers coming up in regard to our identity and our life force energy as well. So we're still sitting in this energy, but as we move into 2021, which I definitely want to talk about 2021 in this video, because healing will be such a huge part astrologically, because we've got major energies at play. And I definitely think, at some point we should talk about 2021 more in depth, because you and I have spoken briefly before, and we both have kind of started to receive things and have ideas for things and have started to see how things will start to play out. I have an astrological viewpoint. a map that shows me here's all the energies coming in, but I've also started to see specific energies play out where Sun square Chiron could cause you to have an issue with your mother. And then when it happens again, it has something to do with work. So it's not about the specifics, it's about there's an energy coming in. So I definitely want to talk about 2021 because, of course, Saturn and Jupiter are in the sign of Aquarius, which is a fixed sign. And we have a lot of fixed energy, the air elements. This is not the age of Aquarius, but this is the year of Aquarius because on February 11th, the sun, the moon, Venus, Jupiter, Saturn, and Pallas, which is a asteroid, will be forming a super stellium in Aquarius. And this is very unique. So not only do we have the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction moving us through this entire year, but Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, and Jupiter and Saturn will be forming a square to Uranus. Saturn 3 times throughout 2021. This is major restructuring, major advancements that are going to take place. But
that's what I'm getting to. Government.
yes, and I'm not going to say too much else because I know, Jessica, you're not as you're more into the witchy side of things. Okay,
yeah.
Astrology, you're familiar, but these types of things are not something that you're pulling your information from. So
Yes,
Jupiter,
spirit.
now Uranus is at 6 degrees of Taurus. So Jupiter is now at 2 degrees. Saturn is at 1 degrees of Aquarius. They're both fixed signs. They form a square. We're about to come into the square, both of them within the next month and a half. Now, Chiron is also going to be at 5, 6, and 7 degrees here during this time. And Aquarius and Aries form a sextile, which is a very positive, supportive angle. It's half of a trine, so which is 120 degrees. A sextile is 60 degrees. So during all of this square between Saturn and Uranus and Jupiter and Uranus, and I also want to point out that the Emancipation Proclamation was signed under a Jupiter-Uranus square, and the Nat Turner Rebellion. There has been a lot of Black history monumental events that have happened under a Jupiter-Uranus square, which will happen at the beginning of 2021. And Jupiter and Saturn will travel because Chiron sits in between Saturn and Uranus. And it's important because Saturn is the old ways, Uranus is the new ways. And before you can get from the old to the new, you have to heal yourself. Okay, there's healing, there's a transmutation of energy, and that's what Chiron represents. Jupiter and Saturn will be making sextiles to Chiron the entire year. So this means more healing modalities becoming available to us. The idea of healing becomes more fathomable and achievable, and Saturn is going to help support us structure our healing process more so that we get better long-term results.
Oh man,
We didn't have that supportive energy in 2020. 2020 was conjunction, square. I mean, it was just very heavy, a lot of stuff at once. Saturn square Uranus is really the star, but they're also going to be making that sextile to Chiron, which is underneath all of this that's happening. There's more transmuting of energy in these more structured and expansive ways.
Mm-hmm. You talk about January and Black history events, and what I was shown was our change in office. You all, I'm not going to get political, but I am going to state some things that are coming up and the changes in our world. That step into office for our vice president is going to really bring that change for us, because not only is she a woman, but she's a Black woman, and we need
Yes.
her. And so it is going to help us restructure. You talk about all that in February, and I feel a lot of love in our community as a people that's really building next year.
It's funny you say community, because Aquarius rules the 11th house of communities and friend groups and humanity as a whole. He is the humanitarian. He is a rebel, but he seeks to be an individual, a unique individual, and wants to empower others to their uniqueness. So this entire humanity is at one with their own abnormal differences. He's
And
the window, he's the genius.
what I heard, because I was going to tell you about the changes coming up in the government, but that brought through the fact of it being unique.
Unique, that's
being different.
Uranus and Aquarius.
We are not doing the same patterns anymore. 2020 is breaking old patterns, okay?
Yes.
So tomorrow night during your full moon, do the release at least 3 things that you want to let go of. And I will talk about that more in a little bit too, because we've both got good moon energy for you tonight.
Yes.
But February, changes in government, and they're going to be slow over the years. So that, I mean,
yes,
changes every month is what they're showing me. Like, we are making fast impact this year. It's almost like a fast track with them in office. Like, there's so much to settle. There's so much to settle. But also, I was shown this morning, and they're showing me again, our sky people are coming in. And I don't know why we thought it's going to be so far away, but they are showing me that there will be a split of people who are really freaked out about it, and people who are ready for this. So this is coming towards the end of the year, and it's nothing to be afraid of. It is like energies, and it's not going to be like all of a sudden people are landing here, but we're going to be more.
That will happen at some point, but
that's coming. But
our frequency, the frequency of the planet has to be able to hold their energy. There's a lot of factors that play with that. But yes, this is really going to speed up now, because
in more of a, yes, we've talked about the awareness, but that is coming in. Like, that's something they gave me this morning that was really unexpected, but it's almost an awareness that it's out there. Also, I want to talk about, like, they just tell me March through May, there's going to be environmental changes throughout the world. And
I have seen this as well. Yeah,
and it feels like, yes, climate, but there's more going on to shift our environment.
Yes, I'll tell you what I saw as well. It's so funny you said that. I was teaching my astrology class last week, and I was going through 2020 astrology and the forecast for the entire year of 2021. And I started to receive stuff that was really unrelated. It wasn't unrelated to the astrology. It's, Saturn square Uranus doesn't mean this is going to happen, but I started to receive the specifics of it, and I started to see more deforestation. I saw great advances in specific types of technology. A specific type of motor vehicle or car will be released in 2021, which is actually better for the environment, but yet there is more technology that's making it easier and faster to cause more deforestation, and more, there's a lot, like I was seeing bulldozers and cranes, and they're in a lot of different areas, and there's a lot of changes to infrastructure as well.
I do see, they're showing me a volcano erupting, and it looks like it is more, what I'm hearing is west, like I feel that. So they're telling me it's
in this country.
Yeah, maybe more of a Hawaii type area where I do see a volcano.
Oh, an actual volcano. Okay.
I do see that going on for sure. And also wow, I want to move past the government, but just because they keep bringing that up as something that's really important. So I want to just empower you all to know, tapping into what you find as your truth and letting your voice be heard is going to be really important for you next year, and standing in your own and finding your own unique way with that, because that is changing. And I don't know why, because they're making me talk about this as being very important in finding our voice, which a lot of this year has been the fact that our throat has been activated. A lot of COVID having to do with the breath. We are being asked to use our voice, because what is coming next year, where we are going to be asked to make changes in our own lives. And these are going to be lots of personal changes, but also as we see the changes coming in our world, you're going to find that your communities are coming more together. Your communities might be your friends, your families, but there's definitely a coming together. And I can see that there are food changes coming next year, and really needing to start to sustain our own food. We knew this was coming, but it's definitely a shift in changes in our fruits and vegetables specifically coming down the line. Somehow they're being reproduced. I don't even know how possible, but they're telling me they're being reproduced in an unhealthier way. We really need to be mindful of what we're putting in our body, including down to the water, because they're showing me that our waters have gotten to a state that it's been harder and harder to clean them. So you need to make choices on the water that you're buying and the water that you're putting in your home, including in the things that we're putting on our skin. Our energy is shifted to a high frequency. And with this high frequency, we're even more porous in this energy. So we need to be mindful of what our bodies are taking in. Sorry, they are showing me things, so it kind of took me out, but they're showing me the water, and sorry, you could see like I was there, and let me come back for a second. And they kept showing me the water in the home, so it kind of took me out because my mind wanted to say something. And I want to say it felt like we really need to watch what we're putting on our body.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and to go back to the discussion of food, there are food changes happening. Uranus is in Taurus right now. So Uranus comes and revolutionizes the area in the sign. He will also be aspected. So Saturn will be making a square to Uranus. Jupiter will be making a square to Uranus. But Uranus and Taurus, Taurus is all about our basic needs, shelter, food, supply. So this is all getting revolutionized, if you will. During the Great Depression, there was something specific going on with Uranus. I think Uranus was in Taurus during that time.
Mm-hmm.
So, and to think that something like that would happen now is like, oh my gosh, but it is happening. So yes, there are changes to the food. 2021 will also be when, I don't remember which country, but they are releasing the first lab grown meat, actual meat.
That's exactly it.
Yes, so there's a lot of changes to the way we eat that are coming as well. They are showing me specific types of devices that are very new that it looks like everyone will be using at some point, kind of like a phone, or it has something to do with a phone. Yeah, and
so awesome. Y'all, it's like a hologram coming, y'all. It's coming.
there is something, yes, and okay, there's a merging of some of these apps that we're using. So, and it looks like people doing their own videos. So like TikTok and Instagram and things like that, there's some kind of merging that's going to happen and a new way that will unfold.
So merging of social medias possible.
Yes, but also buying music, like the way that our music, like Spotify and Apple Music and all of that, there are changes that are going to happen to that as well. There are it looks like biomechanical. So there are new technologies that are going to be birthed. And this makes so much sense because of all of this Aquarius energy and Jupiter and Saturn being there. And then you've got this super stellium, but like bionic, I don't know if that's the right word, legs and arms and things like this. Like there are breakthroughs, and this will be somewhat of a year where certain things will come out more. And they are also showing me artificial intelligence will make a bigger,
yes,
like, but almost so much more in human form.
That when you said the robotic legs and arms, I saw the artificial intelligence.
Yeah, because then they immediately took me to, there's a video I saw one time of this android talking, and they immediately took me there and goes, that was nothing compared to what they actually have brewing, what they already have available to us.
All of that technology is already there. I want to talk about Area 51. I don't, they do.
Okay.
It's going to be unveiled in some way.
Okay. Interesting.
I know that was not what was going to come out of my mouth, so I'm going to honor it. But there's something that they're showing me, that something is unveiled in some way that we will notice, and that may line up with, yes, I know. It may line up with it lines up with the Sky Crew. I'm calling them the Sky Crew. I don't know if you all watched the 100, the Sky Crew. So the Sky Crew company, but there's a lot that we're going to learn about that. And okay, it reminded me. We already know. We already know. It's already here. This isn't anything new. But we're going to find out more about it because there's so many people that it's almost like they can't keep their mouths shut. What I'm being shown is like they are being guided, like they cannot. It's almost like magic's like I'm taking your you know how the magic potion, you have to tell the truth.
Right.
It's like pouring out of people's mouths. So expect to see more on that aspect as well.
Well, and I just asked them, I said, well, let's talk about ascension symptoms. What are some of the things that people are going to be experiencing during this time? And they showed me a lot of throwing up. So a lot more nausea and things like that, purging. But they immediately went to the heart. This is a heart opening time. And that makes sense because community groups are being restructured. This is all very Aquarius energy. But the way they're showing me is it's not just heart opening, like, oh, I just love everything now. I love my life. They're going to be real honest now. And they're going to say 2021 is going to be a calmer year on the world's stage. But there will be lots of chaos in other countries. There's this going on over here. And then they're talking about, for some people, we're going to have another wave of people coming through, having specific activations and awakenings. But 2021 may take a lot of people and a lot of us to some dark places still. This is not over, and dark does not mean evil. It just means
heavy.
But they said aware.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
Mm-hmm.
Darkness does not mean evil. It means awareness. Oh, okay, I got it. Where you're more aware of certain things that are going on in you and certain things that are playing out in the world.
And that's a piece of what we've been experiencing ourselves over the past, so many, I'm just going to say so many months. And I'm seeing already in people we are healing pieces that we're not able to hide anymore because our frequency won't let us hide those. So we're being asked to dig deeper into those things that we've hidden away. And it's going to come from our heart because our heart holds our memories. This is where we align with our soul. And those memories need to come out to open that. And for this frequency to continue, we have to be open to opening our heart and letting loose the things that no longer serve us. When we talk about getting dark into heavy into this year, it will be so calm. And we've already been going into the calm, but it's going to be so much reassuring. I already know I've been seeing people getting back together in February. So we will see that this COVID calms down. It will not completely go away, but it will calm down so crazily much where it's not seen quite as much. So know that is going to change, but definitely the healing is deep, deep, deep. And that's what we've been working on and doing in our communities. So definitely look for that and how to dig deeper in trauma healing.
Yes, there's more healers that will step forward or start doing this work. And there is a lot more. What I'm seeing and hearing is people people doing things now. It's weird because they're giving me stuff and it's reminding me of astrology rather than the other way around. So people having sudden breakthroughs, not just in healing, but sudden, like, I want to go here now, and they're moving into different areas. They're not just leaving certain jobs, but they're changing their life suddenly. There's and so this all feels very like sudden Uranus, your rebellious energy. This all feels like that,
where we're stepping into a world where we're doing what we want and doing what we desire, and it no longer serves us to do what doesn't make us happy in our lives, in our jobs, in our relationships. So that is a piece of that too, that they're
okay. I'm getting some specific stuff real quick. Just, even if it was just me, I'm like, let me tell you this. This is really interesting. They're talking about there are powers that be, forces, if you will, whether you call it the global elite, reptilians, whatever, the devil, whatever, um, lower vibrating, lower consciousness beings or people who vibrate in certain states seeping their way into the spiritual and metaphysical communities, specifically to, you could say, not necessarily stop this process. Okay, they said yes, there is something wanting to halt this process in some way, certain of them, but I'm going to say more like governmental or more people in the media using metaphysics and spirituality as a guise. I'm seeing, oh gosh, this feels. I'm not trying to judge anyone, but I'm seeing people being spiritual and not really living it, not really having these experiences.
Integrity.
And it's, but there's also it being used as a way to divert attention and a way to, so we want to be mindful of that. And we're already seeing such an explosion,
And
but I feel like I've gotten this before in a reading with somebody.
Mhm.
But there's like this energy of, we're going to capitalize off of metaphysics and spirituality in such a way that we kind of give wrong information on purpose.
That's awful. That's awful, and we've already seen that happen. I mean, I had a scam artist, so you know what I mean, and that's
Oh,
isn't gone, but that is happening. And the changes in social media, you mentioned changes merging. I'm seeing slowing down because it's like all of us are calming that social and technology down too. I see that next year.
yeah, and it's really interesting at this time, because Uranus is in Taurus. Um, I don't remember who said this, but Uranus comes through and wants to break through and awaken and revolutionize. And Taurus is very earth energy and very sensual, very real. Okay, it's very down to earth. So, how revolutionary at this time for us to de-technologize and go into nature and be real, how revolutionary, how rebellious, how bold. I think that's really interesting at this time. Um,
It's so weird too. It's been really weird, but I've seen that happening. Very interesting.
I don't know what this means, but they're showing me like technology being replacing nature for certain things, and that this will be like a machine that emits negative ions rather than having to go something like this. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, it,
Like there are UV lights that give you UV if you're
yeah,
inside.
and that's exactly what they drew me to, is my light bulb over here, and they
Yeah.
were saying just like that, but this will be
Yeah.
in a new way, but this will be good
For
in
scale.
specific ways, because there are people who are not able to get to certain things. But when I went on this whole, it's revolutionary, they were like, there's going to be a blending of this.
I think they're going to use that vitamin
I
D
am
for
so
COVID.
I am going to give you some information that is very specific. Um, I don't know why they're showing me this, but it looks like there is kind of like a solar panel will use the energy of the sun, but they're putting things inside of trees.
Mhm.
I don't know how to describe this. Give me a minute.
I'm linking in with you, so
It looks like there are computers or some type of
I'm hearing
device
implant.
implant inside of trees to specifically harness their power and Oh my God. Okay, if this is
I'm with you. I'm
if this
right
ends up happening, this is real specific. So it looks like there's devices that are using, God, slow down. Okay, here's how it's coming in. The tree takes in information from the sun. There is some kind of signal that we're then able to tap into, some kind of current or electrical current that runs through the trees, and it's in the tree, and we can use it to power things. Give me a minute, we're still going. Power things, but also it sends a signal through the roots so that all of the roots of all of the surrounding trees starts to communicate better so that wow, so that these trees either live longer or have stronger bonds or roots, and this is helping the environment in some way as well.
Oh wow, that's powerful. That's powerful.
They are showing me
Curious.
though that this is originally intended for our use though,
Mhm.
but something about sending a signal down here into the ground
Mhm.
and this thing inside of this tree, it's like it almost looks like I'm going to get maple syrup out of the tree, but
Yeah.
it's like we're putting things in trees specifically, and there it's like a screen too, like there's a computer in it. I This is so bizarre.
So bizarre, and I don't know how I feel about it yet, but I hear you saying it's gonna be good.
So I don't know what that means or who's, maybe if somebody sees this one day, or I don't know. I don't know.
What I've gotten though about 2021, and this year is gonna be better, that we are going to start to lift. We're already seeing the lift. To call on your people, to speak your truth, to step into your power. Those are going to be important things on the personal. We've talked about a lot going on with the world and the universe, but really you're being asked to turn inward and get to know yourself and say yes to yourself and maybe say no to everybody else for once. So really this work, this year's about your personal work. And you may call in a healer, you may call in a best friend, you may call in a therapist, and I hope you call in all of them. We all need it right now to be able to process together what's what we've been going through, and we're healing it. We've gone through it this year. Now it's time to heal it, and some of those pieces are really attached to sometimes childhood or different
Yes, and a
traumas.
lot of that's going to drop in 2021.
Yeah.
It's going to
So
get
be prepared to call your
kind of,
people.
yes, and they're going to now take me to money.
Mm,
So, which is also very
that's
Taurus, but
true.
it has nothing to do with that. They're talking about currency. They're talking about the cryptocurrencies, all that kind of stuff, which I'm already aware that Bitcoin has their value increased exponentially, or got to the highest. The value had gotten to the highest it had ever been after Jupiter and Saturn entered Aquarius, and but they're also showing me blending of money. So it looks like people are using different countries' money, or that it's all starting to, and this will begin
Awesome.
in 2021.
So, Chris, because I've been watching different cryptocurrencies, one in particular, I can't think of the name of it to be honest. I'm curious, what's your take? Like, do we do it?
Do we do it?
Yeah, do we
See,
do
I'm
crypto? I'm curious to what your intuition tells you.
yes.
Oh, well, thanks.
So, girl,
I am,
could you hear
I
it?
am live.
Could you hear it going? Dun, 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 dun. I'm like, oh my
And I'm
god.
so glad it did. Thank you for that giggle. We just ripped everything apart for the year. People are sitting crooked right now, so we needed that laugh.
Hold on.
You
I am
got
so sorry.
don't blooper reel, blooper reel, you all.
Okay, so blooper reel. I'm like, I'm live right now, bitch. Um,
I'm busy.
she's like, oh shit. And I'm like, you, uh-huh, oh shit is right. So, but cryptocurrency is very, it's going to be the future. Okay, they just made me feel like in our lifetime, there will still be physical forms of money. It will
They're
not,
like,
but this is where it's all moving to. Of course, it's all moving to that anyway.
Yeah.
Duh. But there's a blending of money, and there's definitely changes happening to our monetary system in the next year. Value, they just said value of the dollar will change as well. Oh my
I
God.
expect a change in our space station. There's going to be a space station change. I feel like there is a disconnect with ours in some way, and there will be a change in it.
And they're talking to me about the stock market.
Well, let's
So
hear that. Sorry, that just dropped in.
no,
Just
it's
dropped in.
okay. Like I'm like, whatever's coming in, let it come in. Um, they did make me feel like there will be some kind of major stock market plummet. They used the word crash. I'm sorry, but I have to say it.
You said the Great Depression earlier for a reason.
Oh yeah. Well, but didn't we just have a I don't keep up with all that shit. So didn't we just have a stock market crash in 2020? Like, isn't that what happened? Would you consider that, or is that what happened in 2008?
I don't know.
I don't keep up with all that bullshit. So
I mean, I should, but I don't. But I mean,
well, why should we?
back to
You know
that.
what I mean?
Yes.
We're manifestors. Like I'm a manifester. If I feel called to invest in that or investigate that, I will. Has not happened yet.
Yeah. Wow.
So there's something happening that will trigger this. Okay, they're going to keep going. They're talking about people. Did you say earlier that people would be growing their own food or harvesting their own food in some way?
With that, we should be, because the fruits and vegetables coming in are going to be mass produced and more synthetic than natural.
There will be more people farming.
Yeah. We need our people farming, and that's why we need to build our communities. And some of us have already done that, where we have a great community built, but this is more than family, because sometimes family are toxic, and we're being asked to be with our people that serve us.
Right. Yes, very much so. 11th house is not about family. 4th house, which is Cancer, is about family. The 11th house is about the community, humanity as a whole, your friend groups.
Well, and sometimes these are what like people that serve us, but also that we are willing to serve, and there are people that we're not.
Yeah, and it might just come down to there's not a connection.
Yeah.
So just to talk to everybody a little bit about some of the ascension symptoms that are going on right now. Definitely, as we go into 2021, there will be new ones that are going to pop up. I definitely have already felt some of these new ones come in. One of them being a lot of pain in the ribs. So this is coming in pretty strong. Definitely the tightness in the chest and the heat and lots of heart activations will take center stage for sure. But right now we're experiencing a lot of that. The biggest one, I think, they're going to do it to me right now. Why? As soon as I was going to talk about it. It's over here on my left side. Is that you?
I've been having that for months.
Okay, well, now it's happening again. I'm like,
I'm wondering, is it ascension or is it not? And I'm like, has this been ascension all this time?
Well, but I might be experiencing something that you're experiencing right now, because that was where I was going next, was the solar plexus area, the stomach, the digestive shifts. Okay, I just made a post about this because of how strong it's coming in for me. It's not like I'm having a real hard time with it, but I'm noticing a lot more stomach cramping when I'm not eating any gluten, I'm not eating anything different. More like cramping or odd pains there that are not related to like gas or anything. And a lot of pressure right in the center where the solar plexus is, and then pain around the ribs. There's a lot of changes happening in that area as well. And the stiffness and there'll be stiffness in certain joints, and it'll feel like something's aching. Lots of things going on in the hip area as well. Go ahead and just give it to me again. That way I don't have to keep track of all of it. There's a lot of them. Oh
There
yes,
are,
the teeth and the jaw pain they're going to talk about is definitely coming in strong, because there's a lot of oh God. I will tell you, I've been reporting more and more about these ascension symptoms, and sometimes I will get some of them briefly, report about them, and they'll never happen again.
good.
It's like it's kind of like, you know what they're telling me? They told me earlier in the car, they go, you want to do this here? you
Yeah,
Because my body's like a pendulum. I
They-
really,
well, that's your empath nature too. Like
yeah.
you are an empath, and they're like, yes, but it's not. It is that like you want to do it, here you go. But it's very much they want you to do it. They want you to share that.
Yes, because I need to know where it is in the body. Like when I'm reporting these ascension symptoms, I'll close my eyes. There's some that I already know are just going on, so they're kind of at the surface, but there'll be these ones that pop up and these odd sensations that'll happen, and I'll go, okay, that's it, rather than them just coming in and going, pain in the ribs. It's like, no, here. It's very interesting. Knee stuff. They're talking about knee stuff as well. In the hips, lots of lower back stuff happening right now. This is happening with you as well.
Some of those I'm having the achiness and
Yes, there's
my
something
back
happening
is
in your
just,
lower back as well.
but yeah,
It's ascension related, okay? So it's very much ascension related. There's a lot of different things happening with the spine. Definitely the vagus nerve. For people watching, look up the vagus nerve. It has a lot to do with Kundalini and your whole system, because that's a lot of things are being activated right now. They keep taking me to the ears. It's like, when is this going to stop? Ear stuff, the ringing, and definitely the muscle twitches are still happening really strongly for me. They're happening right now as I'm talking about it. It'll feel like little bubbles are popping under the skin, or like little things are like zzz, I don't know how to
oh,
describe it.
I have gotten acne in a couple of areas.
Okay, I'm so glad you said that. I'm so
Yeah.
glad you said that. Rashes, breakouts, and itchy skin are definitely. I was just getting the itchy skin right now as soon as you said that.
I was going to bring up that my heart chakra, when it's activated, it itches back there. And I freaked out for
Interesting.
years thinking, actually, it's been the last 2 years. When it's activated, it will itch, but I didn't know that's why it was itching.
Yes, and when it comes to the skin and the breakouts and things like that, there are chemical components. You have to understand that when people go, oh, I'm breaking out because I'm stressed. Well, remember you said that the next time someone like me says, your body's releasing emotions and it's coming out through your skin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's not just stress right now, it's unprocessed emotions. It's a lot of chemical, molecular structures, different.
Our body
It looks
can't
like
hold it.
little. It looks like little. They're showing me really dark crystalline, like iron crystals, but it's not. It looks like little viruses, but they're not viruses, and it's like
Like a little
toxin.
blanket.
Yeah, being released into your bloodstream from your cells and from the DNA.
Wow. Yeah, we are definitely releasing with
So
our
there's a
breakthrough.
lot of inflammation happening in the body right now, as and people are not drinking enough water. And when people hear that, they go, "Oh my God, I'm drinking so much. This is not enough.
I
It's
have
just not enough."
4 of these a day.
Yeah, we've really, especially if you are feeling it more, that is really going to help so much.
Yeah.
And people are not honoring the shifts in the digestion. They are feeling these things and they think it's just something they're going through. It's a little phase. There's a lot of people, this is going to stick around, and this is how your system is now. And okay, they're showing me that a lot of us, this makes sense, we had things built up in our cells that made us tolerate certain foods based on genetics, but also things that our mother ate, is how this feels, because it feels like now that we're clearing a lot of that stuff, the system is not able to handle that density, or is not able to
Yeah.
handle that anymore. It's hard
Our
to.
bodies are very sensitive to a lot of different foods now. Some
Yes.
people, you've seen, some people can't do meats anymore. And I don't mean
Mhm.
because they don't like the taste, but because their body has rejected it. But yes, sometimes there's a reason beyond that. But spiritually, our bodies, and I eat meat, so, and Christopher does not. So I'm not judging eating meat or not eating meat. I'm just saying our bodies can't handle the same thing that
Right.
it used to. I have sensitivities, but mine have been even worse in my gut and different. So I knew it was Ascension, but also I was like, what the hell is happening? Because it was so bloated, so much pressure.
Bloating,
I
yes.
felt the pain in my ribs, the achiness. That's been interesting. I always joke, I'm old, but really, I'm very healthy.
Because they come and go.
They do come and go, like they're more today. So, and it's not that it puts me down or under, but sometimes it's really bad, sometimes it's not. These will lighten, is what they're telling me. These will lighten as we heal over I'm going to say the next year, but we know it's a lifetime of work for healing. It's always happening. My stomach's doing the gurgle right now. It's been like loud,
Mhm.
like I'm in a spiritual class and that's all you can hear, loud.
Yeah.
Sing.
There's a lot of changes happening down there. Enzymatic changes, chemical changes, changes to the bile. There's all kinds of stuff happening.
And more people are releasing that way.
Yes. Yeah, because that's
I
the
know that's
body knows
but
to
it's
do
true.
that.
You're literally releasing old shit.
Also, they're going to talk about the anxiety and the depression, especially now as we build up to this full moon in Cancer. You are, especially tonight, there's going to be some insomnia, some waking up, tossing and turning. Definitely don't be surprised if you start dreaming more about your deceased loved ones. I would not be surprised if this energy pulls that in for us. The moon will be making a square to Chiron at the time of the full moon. So there's lots of triggers that are ready to come up for you. And the moon will also be making a sextile, a supportive sextile to Uranus and Lilith. So it's also about breaking free of old programming, subconscious beliefs, emotional patterns that have been going. This is an incredible, for the full moon to be happening at those two very powerful aspects, that says something. And with Lilith as well, the moon is a feminine energy. Cancer is ruled by the moon. It's the mother of the zodiac, the nurturer. And Lilith is she devil. She's a witch, but she's a powerhouse. Okay. So coming into that rawness and that realness, and getting really owning that the divine feminine is not a fairy with flowers covering her pussy. It is a combination of that, because there's thorns on those flowers. Okay, so be careful when you go playing in the garden. Okay, so especially the Garden of Eden, she might just leave your ass there, and then you'll have to marry some girl named Eve. Um, Lilith knew what she was doing, and that's really important because Uranus is the rebel, but the other rebellious energy is Lilith. And Lilith is at 7 degrees of Taurus right now, and Uranus is at 6 degrees. So in 2020, we also experienced a Lilith-Uranus conjunction, and we'll experience another one again in 2021. So there's really this empowerment, and really individualized sense of owning your unique darkness, but your real raw humanness as well. There's a lot of that coming in right now.
Yes, and Lilith has come up a couple times for me today. I definitely want to talk about, if you all are doing your own ceremony at home, what I'm recommending. And Christopher, I know you've got yours on your Insta. I'm sure you'll share that in just a second. But write down a few things that you want to release tomorrow night: patterns, beliefs, people, lots of different, lots of different things that you could, fears, doubts. Sorry, I was like, give me the things you told me earlier. And also write down at least 3 things that you want to manifest. And what they're telling me is maybe pick like one thing for health, one thing for money, one thing for love, one thing for community. Like really manifest what you want to see happen over the year tomorrow night. Just write down one thing, but at least 3, but maybe one thing for each category. And light a candle, sit in meditation, and burn those papers when you're done, especially the one that you're letting go. And don't think about it. Just watch the magic work over the year. But definitely doing your own ceremony or coming to a ceremony is going to be really helpful for you. You're utilizing your own magic, your own way, and letting that moon energy really help release. But even though the full moon is a time to release, I always recommend manifesting at the same time you're releasing, because that release, you're making room for what's coming, and then you can empower that more on the new moon. Christopher, I know you put up a full moon post.
Yes, the
And I
full
was
moon
gonna ask
Cancer
what
post on my Instagram.
that.
There's a ritual attached to that. It's pretty extensive. Should take about an hour. It involves clearing your space, clearing your energy, taking a bath or a shower of some kind, specifically to calm and soothe. The water will transmute the energy and really help ground you and recharge you. And then specifically sitting in meditation and sitting with your emotions intentionally, because things will be coming up for you. And in that quiet contemplation, it'll all allow it to surface, because your conscious mind won't be putting it down. And I actually got this idea from you. You're more than welcome to. And I want to do things in 4s. You'll notice that my rituals have a lot to do with numerology as well. Like with the Sagittarius new moon, it was 9 and 999 and equaling 27 and all of that. And with this, it's Cancer being the 4th sign ruler of the 4th house. So 4 is a very strong number in the ritual. And the last part of the ritual is holding a cup of water and saying positive affirmations to it of your choice for 4 minutes, and then drinking that motherfucker. And that is you replacing what was released.
Yes.
And using water, because Cancer, not just because Cancer is water, but because it is a full moon. And Cancer is a water sign, but the moon in Cancer, it's exalted. The moon loves being in Cancer. It's in rulership. And this is important to transmute using water this time as well, where Sagittarius was absolutely through fire, through that quick transmutation where water is going to hold and carry away. The fire dissolves immediately. And it's just a different transmutation that takes place.
I love that. And you can even put your paper that you want to burn, you can actually put it in the water and let it soak and bury it, or tear it up and throw it in the garbage too. Like,
Yeah.
but
This water at the end, you want to keep that clean, and that's your affirmation water, because when water is blessed and when it is prayed over and when energy is directed at it, the structure of the water molecules will shift and will transform. And so you're just doing that. You could put crystals in it if you want to. So
I love that. Love,
and this is perfect because this is the 2nd full moon in Cancer this year. So cardinal signs were ruling 2020, and the Cancer being the sign that the moon rules, the moon is saying, I'm going to come into my home space and I'm going to nurture you all. And I want you all to nurture yourself. And I'm going to make a complete opposition to the sun while he's in Capricorn. And I want you to really pull your energy inward and leave your work, your career, your ambitions for the time being. We're going to separate these two and oppose each other, and you can make a choice. So, but I'm going to pull you in because that's what the moon wants to do. So she's doing that as a way of carrying us softly into 2021.
That was such a beautiful description of that, by the way. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to remember that. We have a moon ceremony tomorrow night, and it's full, and I feel blessed that I have a full ceremony.
Yeah, of course it is. Of
We're
course it
going
is.
to utilize that moon magic. It's just
Absolutely.
a great time to do your self-care. I've started my ritual. Actually, it's been like a 3-day process. Yesterday I woke up and was like, I'm gonna do my witchy cleaning, sweeping, and cleaning my altars. I got a Stevie Nicks candle ready to burn.
Absolutely, baby.
Like all that magic, like down to like my bath and like my dry brushing on my skin, my
Mhm.
mask, my ear candle. Y'all
It's all
have
about self-care,
seen me. It's
soothing self-care candles,
yeah,
anything to do in the home, in the privacy, in the comfort.
yes.
Fourth house.
It was so good, and like I just love to do that where and I didn't have to do anything else. Didn't
Mhm.
have to be with anybody. So I hope you all do that.
Well, Jessica, what do you have going on this week besides your full moon ceremony?
Well, let's see this week. I will be in recovery this week. I will be doing a retreat on my own and in recovery this weekend. So not this week, Monday night, we will have our intuitive witch circle and we will be working on mediumship. I am getting ready for the spiritual goddess retreat that's happening January 29th through the
Awesome.
31st. And those of you that are wanting to be a part of that ceremony, it is a great way to start January because we are working on personal healing work, and that's what this whole year is going to be about. So, if that's something that you're interested in, find me, contact me, or go to thejessicatanzo.com, and we'll do a consult and we'll see if it's a good fit for you. I've only got a few spots left. And that's the biggest thing I have happening this month. And that's part of the Soul Magic and Intuitive Witch School. So super, super excited to focus on that. It's going to be awesome.
I'm excited for you. I'm excited for all the people that get to join you in that.
Yes.
I'm definitely going to join you at some point because I'm an intuitive witch.
Yes,
Um,
you are.
so for those of you who'd like to get in contact with me after this video, you can follow me on Instagram at the@astromedium. You can also go to my website, ChrystopherWithAYmedium.com, if you want to book a reading with me. Both of us do take energy exchange donations. If you are resonating with our content, if you love what we do, if it's helping you, of course, we accept that as long as it's with love. It's not necessary, of course. And the links for the description box has the links for our Venmo, Cash App, all that kind of stuff. And you can find that on our social media as well. We spend a lot of time, lots of love into our work and what we do. So I'm just shamelessly putting that out there. And I also teach astrology at Eclipse over Roswell here in Atlanta, Georgia, every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you'd like to sign up for that class, we allow Zoom participants, so you don't have to be in the area for that. And you can go to visiteclipse.as.me/astro, and you can find that link on my Instagram page as well. So thank you everyone for joining us for the Chronicles of Chiron, the Lion, the Witch, and the Healer. We will see you all next week here on Soulfire at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Bye, you guys. Happy New Year.